Okay, so we're going to start out this evening with our public hearing. For those that have been following our board meetings, our district safety plan was originally adopted in August of 2023 and accepted by the state. And then shortly thereafter, our 30-day comment period, I sent it to the state, as I said, and it was accepted by them. While we were doing that, we were in the process of finalizing the terms of the SRO contract that was approved in early September. After that got finished, our legal counsel recommended that we put the entire safety plan and the appendix that included the SRO back up on the website for an additional 30-day public comment period. And so that has ended. That was ended on October 28th. So the only thing new to the safety plan that we are readopting this evening is Appendix 7, which is the addition of the SRO, which has already been adopted as a contract. During the last 30-day public comment period, we did receive some comments. People could send them in electronically. Mr. Zimmer actually collected those, compiled them, and sent them to the Board of Education on October 31st after the close of the comment period on October 28th. So the board should be in receipt of the comments that came through. We will allow any additional comments this evening, if anyone has any, before we close the public hearing. And then later in the regular board meeting, we will adopt the plan and readopt the plan. And then tomorrow morning, the state is actually waiting for me to resend the adopted safety plan with our SRO contract, which is on our website. I have a copy. Well, I have one copy with me this evening because it's a lengthy document. It is also available on our website, so if anyone wants to see that. This is the public safety plan, so there are aspects of all safety plans that have to stay more confidential. This is the one that is allowed to be in the public forum. So with that, if there are any public comments to add to the 30-day period that we just finished, we can open the floor to any public comments.
Phil, could you just give us a thumbnail of it, or a summary?
Of our safety plan?
Yeah, because I haven't followed it.
Well, our safety plan is the public document that outlines who our safety teams are. Pretty vague procedures. We don't get into the nuts and bolts for the community because it is that part of the plan is building level materials, so those are not included in the public plan. I can give you the, he's probably the only one who wants the full copy. I can give you the copy of it this evening. I knew you'd be here, so I had a copy.
Okay.
So I can give that to you. And then the SRO plan is the plan that was adopted back in early September, so that's just added to the end as this 7th appendix.
And how's the SRO been going, that plan, this year?
Great. It's not really. That's not the comment
right.
For this part. Okay. But yeah, so far the SRO, we said we were going to have 3. The town was only able to give us 1 so far. So we're still investigating that further with the town.
Right.
So,
thanks.
Anyone else for public comment?
Anyone from the board? Any comments?
Good. All right. Then we'll close the public hearing.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing and we'll go right into our general meeting. So can we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now we'll open the meeting up to public comment. First half is for agenda items only. If you have general questions or back-end public comment, we can address those questions or concerns. So anyone for public comment for agenda items only? Okay, we'll close public comment and we'll move on to special presentations. Again, this evening we have the leaders of the pack. We'll start with the elementary school.
So this is Jaden Lewis. He's a fifth grader in Mr. Haas's class, and Mr. Haas shared some really great words about you. So Jaden enters the classroom and leaves the classroom every day with a smile. Your positive attitude and energy towards learning is a constant encouragement to others. You're a great role model. He's also a very hardworking and conscientious student who consistently goes above and beyond the tasks that are required of him. These are all the reasons why you, Jaden, are our Student of the Month for November. Congratulations. Oh, and I forgot to mention his mom works at our school. So we're working with her every day.
You want to swap? I'll take a picture.
Oh, get them.
We have a few more.
Oh, hold on.
Just one.
Okay, come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it? I'll look this way. Okay.
Yeah, one more for the district now. Very nice. Thank you. Oh, of course. This one. There we go.
Congratulations.
Good job.
So, unbeknownst to us in the middle school, we actually selected the sister of the elementary school leader of the pack. So this is Isabella Ruiz.
It's the first time this has happened.
Yeah, not on purpose. So she was selected by, she's a seventh grader in the middle school, and she was selected by her teachers as our leader of the pack. So they had a lot of wonderful things to say about Isabella. So just to give a little background, Isabella, earlier in the year, before the school year, actually volunteered to be a buddy to a student who was entering the district who did not speak English. So she, on her own, she said, yes, I can help. I'll be happy to volunteer. She speaks Spanish. So she was happy to work with that student in lots of different ways. First, to kind of show the student around the school and to acclimate the student to the classrooms, the teachers' names, places to go, lunch, things like that. And she, again, she volunteered to do it, and she did it with a smile, which was awesome. So that kind of set the tone for the year. And we already knew great things about her as a sixth grader, but that was really special that she did that. So our teachers had a lot of great things to say about her. And Mr. Rinaldi said she flies under the radar because she does not draw attention to herself daily in the classroom in a positive or negative way. But when I grade her assignments, they're impressive, both in content and quality. Mr. Rinaldi is very happy that you got this recognition and attention that's being directed towards you. Mr. Kenny, one of our school counselors, said Isabel volunteered to buddy up with a student and help her translate directions to classes throughout the day. She went above and beyond what was expected of any student and did it with a smile. Mr. Donahue said Isabel is a natural leader and a genuinely empathetic young person. She works diligently on her own personal growth, but easily steps in to help others as well, which we all know. And lastly, Mr. Hogan said that Isabel is kind, respectful, and fearless. She's always willing to help out another student or help into a leadership role in the classroom. She brings a positive energy and smile wherever she goes. So congratulations.
Sure, thank you.
Might as
Might as well.
You're nominated.
You want to get your son too? You can bring your whole family in.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Alright,
Come on in. Do it all now. There we go.
Alright, ready? Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright.
right, good, yeah.
Ready? Very nice.
All right.
Wait, one more. This is for the newspaper.
One more.
No use here though.
I know. Here, but-
All right. Thank you.
Congratulations. I think the parents in this case deserve a round of applause.
All right, so for the high school, we have Ms. Regan Hines. So, a quick little story, when I called this time, the first thing that she asked me was, well, which daughter are you talking about? Because I, started off with calling your son or your daughter, has been selected for us in another month. And the other daughter was not very happy when I had to break the news that she was not selected, but she was an absolute joy, and I have no doubt that she will probably be up here very, very soon. So with that said, I do have a couple things to say from your teachers. So Ms. Saylor, Regan's superpower is risk-taking. She is so successful because she isn't afraid to try something new. And she's incredibly resilient when she hits the inevitable obstacles. Regan is a role model to her peers. Miss Otis, Regan is one of the hardest working and conscientious students that I have. She studies well before I announce tests, is proactive in the classroom as well. Mr. Cozzolino, I admire how hard she works, how positive she is, and how easily she can work with any of her peers. And Miss Whiston, she accepts challenges willingly and pushes not only herself but her peers to reach their goals. Regan absolutely makes a difference in my day, every day. And so we are so proud of you.
And her birthday's on Friday.
16th birthday.
Oh, boy. Hey.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Ready?
Hold on.
Get us all?
You got it?
All right.
Okay, we'll move on, and again, on behalf of the board, we want to congratulate all our leaders of the pack, and especially their parents for raising such great students, and just want to congratulate you again. Thank you. We'll move on to our consent agenda.
So before we do that, Mr. Barone, I know we're getting toward the end of the marking period, so I bet you the high school student must have some homework that needs to be done, because we will have school tomorrow.
Thank you. It already is. The marking period ended.
We gotta try to make something. I mean, say the same thing every month.
I was like, unless my
Okay,
kid's
so moving on to our consent agenda. We go from BA to GB. If there's any item you want to pull from the consent agenda, we can do that and have it as a separate resolution. So first, let's get a motion to move it as a consent. Can I have a motion to move? Motion by Camille, second by Janine. Anyone want to pull any item and any discussion?
you said through D4?
GB. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, to D4, correct, Camille. FA. Sorry about that.
Just a quick question, for the environmental consultants LLC contract, can you just give a little flavor on what that's for?
Sure. Peter Miller here. He's got the water. You want to talk about that? He's the water guy. He knows much more about it.
The high school is a municipal water system, and it has to have a licensed operator. We currently do not have a licensed operator, so to cover our requirements, we are contracting with this company until we get a licensed operator on staff.
Okay, previously we did, right?
Yes.
So, okay. Thank you.
And our goal is to be back in that spot
As soon as
in the near
possible.
future.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. From FA to D4, we have a motion by Camille, second by Janine. All those in favor? Opposed? So carried by nothing.
So I believe we have one of our new hires with us this evening. I think I see her back there. Is that Emily?
Yes.
Emily Weiss. So Emily is going to now work in the transportation department as the new database clerk typist. So welcome to Emily.
That's it, right? That's all we have. Okay, we'll move on to our principal report, and we're gonna mix it up a little bit, so we'll do middle school first. Just go around.
Let's do this.
Listen to the fun.
I have a few things. Holding my printouts for everyone, because I know how much you guys love them, so here's another one. You can pass them around. So this is an opportunity that's coming up on December 1st with our science club. They're doing I have to see this so I can get the words right. Hold on. It's an HMS Science Club night at the Vassar Observatory. So it's $1, which is awesome, and it's for parents and students. It's on a Saturday. So it's December 1st from 7 to 9. Miss Harris and Mrs. Burnett are two Science Club advisors, are the ones that are hosting it, but it's for anyone. So we'll be posting it on our social media as well. Miss Harris is very excited. She's been working with the observatory for many years trying to get something like this together. So she's very excited to do this and see families and students together. So this is coming up on December 1st. So if you're interested, please go to that. That'd be awesome. One of the other things that I'd like to share is during our superintendent's conference day, our staff partaked in a team building activity in the afternoon where they did a Jeopardy game with Mr. Cartwright, and through the Jeopardy game, they ended up having to run to our library to find a pumpkin, come back with their pumpkin in teams, and do pumpkin carving contests. And then the students voted on the pumpkins the following day. And our staff are built into teams throughout the year for all kinds of PD, and they get points for the end of the school year. I have no idea what that will accumulate to, but we'll get there when we get there. So here are some pictures of the different pumpkins that the teachers made, and some of them working in the cafeteria on the PD. It was very fun. And the pumpkin that won is Santa Claus is coming to town. Yeah.
Something like
So the one in the obviously looks like Santa Claus is the one that won on the bottom right. So they were very creative and very interested and engaged in that activity, which was really cool to see. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was an exciting event that happened last week in our new math program, our new math elective, Money Talks. We had someone from the bank come in. I'm going to make sure I get it right, from the Rhinebeck branch, and it was the assistant manager, and she came in and did a really cool presentation for both groups of students, so on an A day and a B day, for the entire period about accounts, bank theft, how to make an account, what does a check look like, and really went through all the really, really important things that they need to know about making an account. The next step will be them making an account, with parent permission, of course, and they're going to learn some of those pieces as well. So that was great, and we'll have pictures up as well on social media. But the kids left actually talking about money in a really positive way and really excited about what they're going to get to do next in that class. So that was really cool to see the excitement from our students in that class. And then I'm going to let Mr. McCormick talk about our sock war that's going on between the two buildings. And I think that's all I have. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Megan.
The elementary school.
All right, we'll go with it. Since I was, yeah, listen, it's gonna get ugly in a minute. I don't know, I'm not feeling so confident. Earlier today, I was feeling pretty confident, and then, a concerned parent went to the junior high or middle school today and checked out the amount of socks, and so we'll talk about that in a second. So today, something that happened that's not in my report was we did Up in Arms came from a production company and did a puppet show for our students today. So we broke out into 4, 5, 2, 3, and K1. And the guy that came was David Manley, and the program was called Helping Drew, and it was an anti-bullying message that the kids kind of participated with. It was an interactive show. It was really awesome. The feedback from the kids, they thought it was hilarious, and there was a lot of participation throughout the shows. Even like I said, the 4th and 5th graders got a kick out of, usually as you get older, you're like, they don't think it's that cool. But they, when I was talking to a bunch of 5th graders, they were like, yeah, it was awesome. Some of the little kindergartners got into being the bully patrols and stuff like that during the show, and they were pretty happy about that. And they talked about tattling versus telling, how you say certain things can hurt sometimes, words that hurt, and sometimes things are funny on TV or shows, but it's not funny in real life. And so they're just, they kind of went through that in that comedic style, and it was really good. I think the kids kind of got it. And then the last thing that they touched on was computer etiquette, and sometimes some of the things that we write on computers has lasting effects. And so it was really all-encompassing bullying, and like I said, the feedback from the staff as well as the students was awesome. So 2 things. One other thing that we also failed to mention in the report was we also did a staff team building. We have a very large building. And so a lot of our primary grades don't get to see our upper grade teachers and interact. And so there's like a lot of silos. And so we thought we'd break those down, and we did a scavenger hunt. And so we had a bunch of shenanigans. And they had to do team building activities to solve problems and get through the day as a team, people that they might not have talked to in their entire career. So it was kind of good to kind of get different perspectives and hear other people and see people working together. So, and we were sitting on some of those pictures of, we had a clown car, and then they had some sidewalk chalk for when the students came back. They had all these positive messages that they had to cover the sidewalks with. So we had some fun activities. So we'll forward on some of those pictures. All right, and then the real thing. Here we go. So the other day, obviously, it was Veterans Day. We had veterans come in for second grade. Second grade held the flags for the veterans as they came in, and they talked about why they joined and in their service and so on and so forth. And as we talked to some of the veterans before, when we were talking about coming in, they discussed how at the VA hospital, a lot of times, it's the little things that the veterans look forward to. And, having friends that have been at the VA hospital, they just said that their feet get cold and they don't get socks. It's really weird. You get a lot of other things, but socks are like my buddy was like, yeah, it's like weird. It's kind of a colder thing. And so, talked to the Rotary in our club, and they said they do an annual sock drive. So I invited Ms. Coburn to join this, which I didn't realize what I was doing when I started this competition. And so I was like, I was pretty sure that we were going to win this thing. Not feeling so confident right now. So we're going to unveil in a minute how many socks that we both have raised for veterans that are going to Castle Point VA Medical Center. There are a ton of puzzle books, which veterans said that they would appreciate, as well as card decks and dominoes and stuff like that. So we've got a ton of stuff, but we thought we'd unveil the totals here to see who has bragging rights on who's the best.
All right, you go first. I want to know who wins.
Yeah. I
would like to know that my building is half the size. I'm just throwing that out there, everyone. So if I do
Easy.
lose, that is why.
So, all right, where's your list?
It's right here.
All right.
It's on a 6.
Do you want them?
He also cheated today, everyone, just so you're all clear. He did come to the middle school, found our stash hidden in the conference room.
That was a Rod Stewart lookalike.
Yeah,
He was in a
that's
wig.
fine.
I don't know who that person was. So I don't know who that person was, but it was a concerned parent, I think. So
The middle school collected 1,343 pairs of socks or socks?
Pairs of socks. Wow.
1343. 1,343.
The elementary school collected 1,344. They collected 11 decks of cards, 33 puzzle books, and 851 pairs of socks.
A lot of socks.
That's over 2,100 socks.
Wow, nice job.
So yeah,
Pairs of socks.
Rotary's picking up. There's a bunch of people from Rotary Club picking up tomorrow all the socks from various locations. So the veterans were let know that they're coming, and there was a bunch that were super excited. So
That's great. Awesome. Good. Anyone have any comments for the elementary school?
Yeah, as a vet, I think that's the project is great to get the kids excited about the service and just giving back to those that have been put their lives on the line.
yeah, and they got into it, and like I said, seeing the vets come in and hold the flags for them and everything, they kind of, they really got into it, so it was awesome.
Good. Thank you.
And the community.
Okay, high school, Kevin?
I don't know how I topped that. You guys set a high bar of standards. The high school we were able to collect a few pairs of socks, not anywhere near that, but we did donate them to the middle school and elementary.
Wait, hold on. How many were donated to the middle school? Hold on. I want to recount. This is like Florida down here. We got to get some recounts. I want an official count.
Like 5 pairs. Okay.
Thick socks. Pretty good. So one addition to the high school report, it's extremely similar to what Ms. Coburn just reported for her school, is that today also we had, for our Taste of Success for November, Walk Hill Federal Savings and Loan came. Mike Horsky came in, the CEO, with Dominic, his vice president, to give a presentation to the students. Taki, we had about 28 students there, right?
Almost 30.
So every month, I've said this before, we have different local organizations come in to give a presentation. It's a great way to give back to the community. They do provide lunch for the students, which is outstanding. We are able to use Brenny's right in town. Very accommodating. And the students today learned about some financial habits and decisions that they need to make as they start getting older and things that they can do now. One nice surprise to this, which they did not inform us of this ahead of time, but I don't know if you knew that or not, Taki, but they brought actual withdrawal slips from the bank to teach students how to actually fill them out correctly. And at the end, they said, everyone line up, and on your way out, please bring us your withdrawal slips. And as each student did, the bank graciously gave each student $5 for learning how to fill out a withdrawal slip properly for all 28 students, which was really, I think, very nice of them. So that was a classy touch on their behalf. We definitely want to thank them publicly for everything that they did for our students. I think it was a win-win all around. So that's great. That's our update for the high school. Any questions?
Just a side note, Kevin. I'm quite friendly with Mike Rodisky, and he had called me right after he left the school. Very impressed with the program that you have put together to get the kids to learn life skills, and also what's out there besides going to college, that there is trades out there and other areas they can get involved in. So he was extremely pleased. I mean, normally he'll call me with all the negatives about the school district. But this conversation, I said, Mike, you feeling okay? He says, yeah. He says, it was awesome. I mean, he must have said awesome 10 times. So he was very proud. He would, and I don't know if he mentioned it to you, but he would like to get involved in a financial literacy program.
So I'm actually setting him up with our financial literacy math class, for him to bring in some curriculum and do some direct work with that class itself.
So if I might add, right before COVID, I had been working with him to do the same.
Right.
So it was all ready to go into the same class.
Actually mentioned that he worked with
COVID hit.
prior, so we're getting.
I'm glad to hear that that's back.
Absolutely, and I want to thank Mr. Kirsch for all of his work getting that together. He's worked diligently with all of the local organizations. We have this set up through the spring for a different organization to come in each month, do a presentation to the students and provide lunch, and I think a well-needed service that they can learn from.
That's good. Anybody have any questions for Tony?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, director's report. I think we have all of our directors here this evening, so if you have any questions, shoot them out there.
Mr. Alfonso, how you doing, sir?
All right.
Question, in your report, you talked about potential flag football team for girls at the high school?
Correct.
Okay, 9 through 12, limiting it to?
9 through 12, but also could be APP test up from 7th and 8th graders if they pass the New York State guidelines.
Interested in one of the comments you made. You said other schools that have this program, students in the spring have to, can only play on one team. They can't be on softball and flag football.
That's what some other districts are doing. Some of the bigger districts are doing that. Once we're hopefully be able to do this, then it would come down to practice time. If we accommodate the practicing going both ways, then someone could play multiple sports.
Yeah.
We've done it in the past with soccer and football and track and baseball.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it would be an inequity if we didn't offer that, once we got going.
It's under our new business, so I think when we bring it up under new business, I think there's more questions. If you have more, we'll bring it up there to have that discussion, because I have a few on it. I think we'll do it under the, when we have the resolution and then have discussion. Okay. Anything else?
I have a question just for Pete. In your update, you noted that we signed a letter of intent for a 30-passenger bus contingent on a May 2023 school bus referendum. What is that May 2023 referendum?
That's the normal school bus referendum that we did.
So the one next year that
The
we're
one
doing?
next year.
Okay, so we committed to it already before
We send a letter of intent that's contingent on that
referendum
bond passing. If it
passing?
doesn't pass, we don't know.
Okay, and that's just because of the lead time trying to get these buses?
We do
is
that
right?
almost every year, so
Oh, do you?
as
Okay.
soon as we know what we're going to add to the
Go for it.
fleet, we put a letter of intent out so that they will manufacture it. If you have a letter of intent, it's usually manufactured sooner than later.
Okay,
And, if you have an order in, you have an order in. But if you have a letter of intent, then they act on it, schedule it on it.
okay.
Now you're at a point where you gotta almost get a letter of intent and or a purchase order in order to get it manufactured.
Yeah, so I know the lead times are significant on some things. Okay, thank you.
Is our 22 referendum buses, are they arrived or they're still?
We have a wheelchair bus came in, we have a Suburban being built, allegedly. And we have a 65 passenger that is potentially showing up in April.
Yes. Supply chain. I just can't help that. Anyone else have any questions for any of our directors? Okay, we'll move on to our student rep.
Good evening, everybody. Starting off with the elementary school, The building level direct committee met yesterday under Ms. Gallagher's guidance, and they discussed the following items: a winter holiday display, a group to update the bulletin board, possibly getting family photos from students, and the next direct meeting is Monday, December 12th. Uncomfortable conversations with the Blackboard book discussion will be pushed back until after the holiday break and will be covered in January. Moving on to the middle school. PBIS is really focused on rewarding positive student behavior, and students refraining from behaviors that will result in disciplinary referrals. This approach has shown some success in the past few weeks, which has been extremely encouraging. With this goal in mind, students must not have received a disciplinary referral since November 1st in order to be selected to participate in the upcoming Gobble Games, taking place on November 22nd. These games will be similar to the previous events such as the Ghost Games, where students get a chance to play in fun, holiday-based games. The middle school would like to thank the community for all the support they received for the Veterans Sock Drive, which was a big success, as we all know, at the middle school and in the elementary school.
Just wait for next year, I guess.
Great. Awesome.
Moving on to the high school, parent-teacher conferences are taking place next Wednesday, the 23rd, and the Canada trip is taking place the first weekend in December, December 2nd through December 4th. And on Tuesday, December 6th, 9th and 10th grade students will attend an assembly regarding the Holocaust. 2 guest speakers from Rockland County will come to speak and discuss their experiences of living through it. And the speakers will return on Friday, December 9th to speak to 11th and 12th graders. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Assistant Soup of Human Resources and Pupil Personnel.
My turn. So over the last couple of months, you've heard us talking about a grant that Ulster County got for the Ulster County Department of Mental Health specifically for middle school services. So they partnered with the LaSalle School, and the idea was helping school districts and the communities provide services for students, specifically at the middle school level. So they're looking at how they can provide community services, but they want to work with the schools to find out some of the needs of some of the students. So if there's students out there that need some outside supports, we help to facilitate that. So some individuals from the county and from the LaSalle School came to meet with Ms. Coburn and some of our staff members at the middle school 2 weeks ago. So they rolled out some of the ideas similar to kind of everything going on in the world. They're struggling with hiring. So we're kind of waiting to see if they're able to fulfill the roles. They're confident that they are, they just haven't yet. So they hire basically a caseworker and a clinician that works with us. Because of where we are, we're paired with Marlborough School District on the services with the team that's going to be working with us. So our idea is that once we have those individuals, we're going to roll out something to the community for our middle school students and families, so they have a face and a name to some of the supports that could be working with them. So we're kind of in a waiting spot right now until they can fulfill those roles, which then we'll start to utilize some of those services. At the end of the month, Mr. Zimmer and I will be attending a Science of Reading seminar that's provided by the Rose Institute for Learning and Literacy, and it looks at foundational supports for our students, specifically in the area of reading, and from some of our specific difficulties that students are seeing. And it's at administrative level of how it can be unfolded and put into some of the schools. The New York State School Supportive Health Services Program, which oversees our Medicaid services and reimbursement throughout the state each year. At the end of the year, they have different reports that need to be completed by the district, so they just opened that up. So I'll be working with the business office, and we look at the salaries and some of the costs that we incurred for some of our staff that provide those services, and they look at the amount of services that we provide, and it's their way. They're kind of hired to oversee just to make sure that everybody's providing everything that they need, and it's just a certification point. So we'll be working on that over the next 2 months. this Thursday, and this is separate from the first thing I talked about with the Ulster County Department of Health, but the Ulster County, the Ulster County Department of Mental Health. The Ulster County Department of Health is reaching out in coordination with the Cornell Cooperative Extension, and they're looking at health services that are provided to the district. So they're collecting information, it seems like at this point, and looking at health services that are provided in school districts in this area. And I assume after that, once they collect information, they'll be looking at either if there needs to be increases or how it's going in all the districts. But I'll be meeting with them on Thursday. And then we've been receiving our first round of homeschool reports, and as Mr. Freer mentioned, the end of the first marking period. So our first quarterly IEP progress reports will be going out after the holiday as well. That's it for me.
Any questions? Thank you. Bill, you're
Good
up.
evening. Hi, everyone. Our first district-wide direct committee had our first formal meeting of the school year on November 1st. Members discussed the upcoming changes to the committee structure as reviewed by the liaison Harriet Meyer at the board meeting on September 27th, her presentation. The committee also set goals for the coming school year and reviewed and accepted applications for new members. In line with the goal of evolving the district level committee into a sounding board for district equity issues, the committee will increase student and parent representation on the committee by accepting 4 new parent members and 4 new student members. The next direct committee meeting will be on Tuesday, December 6th. Last Tuesday, on November 8th, was the superintendent's conference day. There were, as you heard from our principals, there's lots of activity in each of the 3 buildings, but I'm going to highlight just one from each building. At the high school, through a DEI lens, teachers discussed with their colleagues some successes and challenges of implementing any curricular changes from the last school year. They then chose a different lesson or unit to review using the same New York State culturally responsive framework that was introduced to the faculty last year. In addition to discussing this with the departments, there were also cross-departmental discussions as well. At the middle school, faculty and staff read and discussed 2 chapters of the book, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. First, they read and discussed chapter 7, entitled The House Always Wins, which covers the topic of the systemic racism. They also read and discussed chapter 2, entitled What Do You See When You See Me? And that chapter revolved around implicit bias. At the elementary school, there were several professional development sessions. There was one on Nearpod, foundations, utilizing Padlet and Google as instructional tools, and a session on the new math program, Into Math. The day culminated with a district-wide safety team meeting right here in this room that included 3 individuals from each school, the school security, an administrator, and 1 teacher representative from their committee. School Resource Officer Brian Scott was also in attendance. We discussed the various drills that the 3 schools have had so far this year and any concerns that the committee members might have. In addition, we reviewed a school safety video that all safety team members had previously watched. There were 4 main components of the video. One is the New York State Commissioner's regulations surrounding safety. The second part is school emergency response plans. Number 3 is building level school safety team members. And finally, handling emergencies. So we discussed that video together as a group. And in addition, a copy of the district's updated safety plan that's available on our website was distributed for review. There was 1 copy given to each building because it's quite a lengthy, it's a big document. So instead of making copies for everyone, but everybody can find it on our website. Finally, the Panorama survey is now open. Yesterday, an email went out, was sent to parents of students in grades kindergarten through 12 with a link to the survey and with needed access codes. Also, a postcard with pertinent survey information was mailed home last Thursday, and actually, as I'm told, they were just starting to be received today. So hopefully it's in your mail if you are a parent, and each board member has a copy. I didn't have extra copies of the postcard itself, but what I handed out earlier right in front of you is the actual text and what the postcard is, just on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper there. it's our hope that that will encourage more parents to participate in the survey so we can increase the feedback even more than we got last year and the year before. Students in grades 3 through 12 will take the survey in school sometime between now and Thanksgiving break. It all depends on the building and which class they're taking it through. But all that information was sent to the principals, who have since forwarded to the teachers that need that information. And it should be known that the survey window will be open for all stakeholders, parents, faculty and staff, and students for the next 2 weeks. It will close on Monday, November 28th. And that's all I have this evening.
Any questions for Bill? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm not going to talk as long as they did this time. I know that's hard to believe, but just a reminder, if any board members are joining me on Thursday evening at the Ulster County School Boards Association meeting, Dr. Betty Rosa, the commissioner, will be here at the New Paltz site. Superintendents are meeting with her at 4:30 for a pre-meeting, and then the rest of the folks that want to join the meeting. And I think, Camille, I know you're going. I'm not sure if any others had RSVP'd, but that should be a great evening, especially, I don't know if you've ever met her, but she's pretty amazing. And she actually just got honored as one of the top leaders in education. It was just in one of the updates. So just a reminder to all that we have evening parent-teacher conferences at the elementary school on Monday from 5 to 8. We have middle school parent-teacher conferences on Tuesday from 5 to 8. And then district-wide conferences on Wednesday in all buildings. That would be no students for the day, and the faculty works the morning. The high school had their conferences a few weeks back, as you might remember. Bill already told you about Panorama, so I'm going to skip that. Just a reminder to folks on the HTA negotiations. We will be meeting next Tuesday, November 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30, and HSA, we will be meeting on November 21st from 5:30 to 7:30. And you'll be getting more information from me if you're on either of those committees. The HTA group got a lot today. The HSA group should be getting quite a bit either tomorrow or the next day from me. In line with our capital project, I know mentioned it in my Friday update. The RFPs went out for construction management services last Thursday. Pete Miller, Lindsay Idell, and myself, we gave tours of the district to 3 firms who were interested in putting in bids. So we walked them through about an hour and a half, look at each of our sites, bus garage, the 3 buildings, and the athletic center, so that they had an idea of what they were actually bidding on. So the RFPs are due to the district by 2 p.m. this coming Thursday, November 17th, and we'll be reviewing them as a support services group in the week or two to follow, with a recommendation hopefully for the board for the December 13th board meeting. Just as a mark your calendars, I can't give you the exact date, but the Ed Foundation will be meeting on Monday to solidify details for their spring event. This is where we honor 3 members of the either graduating classes or the Husky Pride Award. We'll be doing that in April of 2023, right after the spring break, probably that following week. They're still trying to firm up the date and location. As soon as I have that, I will give you more information. And then when that's done, we will shift the induction posters down and put the new one up and retire the one that is from 3 years back. And then those faces that are on those induction posters will be put on our Hall of Fame wall in the upper deck of the high school. I think that's all I have.
Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, thank you, Joel. Under Board of Education, new business, first reading of policy number 7611, children with disabilities. It's an amendment, be a revision. Policy number 7611 is our first reading. We can hold it and go to a second reading, normally what we do. So if you have questions, pass them on to Dr. Boyd. He'll be able to fill you in. It's, I believe, from legal, Patrick, maybe you want to just explain what they requested.
It come out as a new regulation of for emergency interventions for restraining and timeout rooms. So we don't have timeout rooms, but it's something that just mandated that you have to put out.
Right. I mean, we could put it in our handbook, but I think it's beneficial to be a policy in case it does surface at some point in time. It's in our policy.
They provide either avenue from council, so you can put it in the policy, and this is the policy that they had suggested when speaking with them. We went through the ones that it would pertain to, and this was an addition to one, or they had said you could follow that route of doing it through certain handbooks. But.
You want to move it to a second reading? Or are you ready to move forward tonight? Second reading is just in case you have any questions come up, and we can move it.
I'm okay to move forward.
And I didn't get questions from the board members that are not here. I did Patrick did a response in the Friday update, so there's a whole explanation there of what he just said.
Okay, we'll move it forward this evening. Need a motion to move the revisions or amendment to policy number 7611. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 5-0. Okay, next item on the new business. New sport, varsity girls flag football. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the establishment of a new sports team known as varsity girls flag football, effective March 2023, according to the current HTA contract and as presented at this meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Janine. Discussion. This my concern, as always, is, and I'm always in favor of giving our student athletes more and more to participate in. But being a small school district, my concern is kind of taking away from some of the other spring sports. And traditionally in the spring you have softball, varsity girls softball. You have track and field, your JV softball if we have the numbers. So that's the concern of mine. Maybe Frank, you can fill me in across also. Yep. Fill me in on what you anticipate as participants. Is it going to kind of take away from the other spring sports?
Right now in the spring, we have on the girls' side, girls track, girls varsity lacrosse, track is also varsity, girls golf, and girls varsity softball, and then we also have JV softball at the high school. We did an informal sign up, basically just had a couple announcements at the high school only, and had them come by the office, and there was 42 people, 42 girls came by to sign up, not knowing what that would entail as far as the schedule and conflicts with another sport. So obviously of those 42, I would probably see cutting that number right in half once they're going to decide, to stick with softball and or lacrosse or track or golf, whatever it may be. We went through the list, and there would be definitely 15 to 20 participants that don't play in the sport right now. The roster would look somewhere between 15 and 20.
What do they field as a team? Is it 8
7 on
girls,
7.
11 girls?
It's 7-on-7 or 8-on-1, one of the two. New York State added this last year as a pilot program. It was mostly down in Long Island, I think maybe up in Buffalo. There was, I think, 4 sections in the state that had it. And then it morphed into where it's offered here in Section 9. The NFL is involved, the New York Jets are involved of giving, I believe, $9,000 to the district to purchase uniforms, which we would tell them what we would want, and it's Nike would be the sponsor. And also they would take care of flags, footballs, belts, things like that. And they were also giving us other money which we can use towards our athletics. One-time deal this year, and that's gone. I don't know where, really where it will be at. I do believe that we would have enough to field the team. As far as facility, we're in a position where the upper practice field could be used. We have the turf field, which could be used. We also have the middle school. You could also use the town field, possibly even use Tony Williams for practice. The schedule, I believe, the section is looking anywhere between 8 to 12 games. We're also looking at it where games would be on a Saturday. Now, if the games are on a Saturday, then your practice times could be later on, and then the conflicts would be much less, and then
But the stipulation is the girls can't participate in.
that was put in there because some districts have that. We don't have that.
That's not a state regulation.
No. And with that said, what we've done in the past, if you have a two-sport athlete, they have like a contract where the coaches sign, the athlete signs, and they would pick their main sport. And if there happens to be a conflict, they're going there. They can't pick and choose game by game.
Right.
Frank, interesting. You said Nike would be the sponsor, one of the sponsors of this program?
And the NFL.
Right.
And the NFL is sponsored Nike uniforms all across the board. So
uniforms as designed won't say Nike on them anywhere.
They'll just have the Nike swoosh, just like our Nike and Under Armour uniforms have now.
Right.
And I went to a preseason NFL game at MetLife, and all the Long Island teams were there during halftime. So the NFL is definitely involved.
It's a one-time donation from NFL or the New York Jets of $9,000.
Correct.
Then what would be our cost moving forward? Do you see it being?
Well, in the next 2-3 years, you already have the uniforms, which would be the big cost. Other than that, to the district, it would be making sure we have the facility and then transportation for 4 or 5 games.
Officials,
paying for officials, and it would probably be you would add the $275 per sport, $275. That's what we pay per sport to Section 9.
but you don't think future years will exceed that $9,000 mark for transportation, for officials, for uniform should last at least 3 or 4 years. Yeah, okay.
We try to rotate them out in 3 or 4 years.
Coach stipend, right?
Coach, too. You have to, a coach, you have to pay.
Coach, we have to pay for that stipend, yeah.
Field dimensions, same as.
No, it would be smaller than the main field.
Which brings me now to our, a new turf surface. That would be an additional setup.
Yes.
Okay.
The practice field would be perfect for them to practice on. We're talking 7-on-7, 8-on-8. We've done it with soccer, and it's definitely big enough for that for practice.
Not big enough for games.
I don't believe so. I'm not 100% sure what the dimensions are. Listen, when 42 people sign up, if there was only 16 or 17, all right. But when there was 42 that are interested, I don't know where it's going to go. But I believe that once we know we're moving forward with this, then we would have a meeting with the athletes. Could you really see who's going to be signed up and ready to go?
Could you research that a little bit as far as the dimensions? I'm just trying to figure out in my head how that would fit on a regular field. Okay, for sure.
Do you have an interest in it for a coach? Like, is there anybody that's available, knows the game of flag football to be able to coach?
I'm sure there is. Well, we really I'm not in a position to pursue any coaches right now.
No, I
So,
understand. I'm just curious.
Well, I'm just thinking that we're missing 2 board members this evening. Would December 13th be, cutting it close as far as getting to section 9 and being put on the schedule and having them develop the schedule and all that? I mean, we'll poll the board.
yeah, I mean, I would say that would be fine. I know they are looking for it sooner than later, but there are other districts in the same position that we're in that, just don't know if it's really gonna be, good to go.
Well, I'll leave it up to the board this evening. If you want to move forward, we can, we got a resolution on the table, we can move forward and vote on it. Or we can
I just have a quick question.
table it until next meeting.
Now, this is geared at the girls' flag football. Does this indicate that we should also be offering this to the boys?
There is no boys league right now in New York State.
Oh, there isn't.
There's not.
There's only a girls' league in New York State.
So wouldn't Title IX, because you have boys football and now you're offering girls football, so I think we're within regulations of Title IX.
Because you consider, okay, regular football versus flag. Okay, makes sense.
I mean, as far as offerings, I love that we have choice, because sometimes kids do things because there's not a lot of choice. So it'd be interesting to see if we were to approve this program where the interest is as far as sports. So I think that's a great idea, and I've seen other districts adopt it. So I think it's a good move for the district. And I'm okay with voting tonight because December could be we're missing 2 more people.
Yeah.
So.
I think we're positive here, so we can. Yeah.
Guys, one other thing is, we have JV softball, and that number's always been a low number. And I believe if this was added, and you're looking next year or following year, JV softball would probably go away. And then we would just have the varsity sports. We don't have JV girls and boys lacrosse. And, so in a lot of school districts our size, and even some that are a little bigger, the JV sports are pretty much becoming extinct. So.
All right, anybody have any other questions? We'll move it forward to a vote. All right, we have Camille and Janine, motions made, second. So, there's no more discussion, let's move it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So carried, 5-0. Here you go, Kathy, another round of sports.
She's They're going to be on Saturdays, Kathy.
You're not making it any better.
I didn't get much of a head nod on that one.
Going to strangle Frank when they leave.
Well, this isn't really the place to say it now, but Kathy and her crew have been doing an incredible job trying to meet the needs of our district. We need bus drivers, so this is like a call to the folks that are watching. Hopefully a lot are. We have that sign out on 9W. We will train bus drivers. We are desperate for more bus drivers. We don't want anything to be cast aside, and they are working extremely hard to make sure that everything is being met, and some things have not been able to be met. So we have had to cancel a few times, and I know I mentioned that in an update to you over the last week, but Kathy drives almost every day, her dispatcher drives almost every day, and I know this is not the time on the agenda, but it was the perfect time when we were talking about another thing to strain that department.
Okay, before we move on to old business, anyone have any new business they want to bring up? All right, under old business, revised district safety plan for the 2022-2023 school year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the revised 2022-2023 district-wide emergency response plan as presented to the board during today's public hearing. Have a motion, please. Motion by Janine, second by Heather. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So carried. 5-0. Is there anything under old business that we need to discuss? No. Miscellaneous, we talked about the board retreat and Joel sent out, our previous goals, so hopefully at some point in time we can find a happy date that we can all, I know with the holidays coming up, it's gonna make it tough with all the, concerts and such, and a lot of us involved in contract negotiations, kind of tough, so maybe when we move into the new year, we can pick a date and go somewhere and sit down and talk.
You want to throw some dates out now and then?
We can do that.
And like, you know, just, before you know it, it'll be January.
Keep it to like a Tuesday.
We can, I believe we only have one meeting in January, so we have.
It's January 17th.
For me, I have two other open Tuesdays.
Is that the preference of the board to stick to a Tuesday or not?
Yeah.
17th.
Yeah, board meeting is on the 17th?
I think so.
Yes. January 10th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that January 10th? January 24th?
I'm okay with both dates.
So I'll send out to the entire board, January 10th to January 24th, or if there's another date, that's convenient.
Maybe a negotiation schedule.
Yeah.
Whether one of those is
10th, January 10th, I think it was.
Yep.
I think it was January 10th.
Camille, don't we have something on January
I
10th?
think you have a snow date for one of them.
Was that the backup date?
It is. But then remember they said that if we got to that, that might end up being another date.
What would be another good day of the week? I know Thursday's bad for Mike. Camille, you have?
Thursday's back for me. Yeah, same reason.
All right, I'll throw out some dates in January to everyone and see if we can get a response. And then once we do that, we'll pick a location and we can go to.
January for me is just tough, just with work, but I will do what I can to make it.
All right. Good. Just an update on HTA negotiations. It's been moving along. I think we reached some areas of common ground, but there's still a long way to go. So we're meeting again on a week from tonight, Tuesday the 22nd. We've shared some preliminary proposals back and forth, but we still have a long way to go. Tom, you were going to say something?
Yeah, it's from Ms. Colburn. In your report to us this past week, you mentioned your school security officer, Mr. Samo.
Mm-hmm.
Is that project still up?
Mm-hmm. It's actually grown, but yes, it is.
It has, yeah. I'd like to stop by the school at some point.
Absolutely.
In the very near future to see it. To those in attendance, he actually cut out dog tags, passed them out to staff.
And students asked if they could join in, so now that's why it's growing, because students are also added to it.
A family member, friend, sibling, parent, that's a veteran.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Unique project, I really would like to see.
Yeah, he took it and ran with it, and he's very proud of it, and he should be.
Thank you. Tell him, nice job.
I will, absolutely.
Anybody else for good welfare of the district? Just another reminder, like I said, at each and every other meeting, we're getting closer and closer to our budget discussion, and you got to really think about, and I know the administrators will put together what they feel is our needs. If there's any new initiatives, I like to hear that from the administrative team. It's always good to look at new initiatives. We got to discuss how we're going to move forward with retaining some of our grant-funded positions, how we're going to move forward if we are with, increasing the SRO program. All those things, kind of impact the budget drastically, so we have to be creative in everything we do moving forward. And I'm sure the administrative team will also be aware of those, potential impacts to the budget that need to really be looked at and be presented to where we can all feel that we can, move forward with what we currently have and improve upon it. All right, anybody have anything else for good and welfare of the district? All right, we'll open the meeting up to public comment. Anything and everything. Mark, you don't have anything tonight?
I'm good.
Good. All right, motion to adjourn. Motion by Heather, second by Tom. All those in favor? Opposed? So carried.